Hello, everybody. I'm Ricky Smith, and this is Faith on Friday Presents. At Faith on Friday Presents, we're all about highlighting, inspiring people, engaging topics, and small businesses that need to be highlighted. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our content with your network. Okay, y'all, public speaking. I know, right? Everybody hates it, but it needs to be done. Here's the thing. How do you do it well? How do you engage your audience? How do you tell a decent joke without it falling flat like a lead balloon? I don't know, but I know somebody. Y'all, please say hello to my friend, Elaine Williams. Hi, Elaine.
Hi, Ricky. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Oh my gosh, I am excited to talk to you for so many reasons. So, Elaine, first of all, we got to let everybody know. So, we met just this past year in this past October, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And I
Yes.
saw you because you were at a keynote speaker. You were a keynote speaker at an event that we were all called Polka Dot Powerhouse Celebration. And you were phenomenal. And I knew I needed to talk to you. So, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you for your kind words. Ricky, it was really fun to be on a big stage after COVID when I've been, on Zoom a lot. And it was just, there's something about the live energy that's just magic.
I love it. And like I said, talked to you earlier, we're both speakers. We both do this all the time, but it's so much fun to talk to another speaker about the thing that we do. The
Yep.
difference here is you are an actual comedian. Tell us a little bit about where you got started and where you're at right now, my friend.
Well, and I want to say first, Ricky, you are naturally funny. And I will talk about my comedy, and I want people who are listening, if you are a speaker and you have aspirations of trying to add a little humor, or maybe someday it can feel daunting. I think a lot of it comes from being comfortable in your own skin and really channeling your charisma. And part of that is from being comfortable,
Mm,
you get a million, not a million, lots of hours in front of other people, stage time, stage time, stage time.
love it. It's
So,
like
and
real estate.
I do think people can work on honing those skills. It's not some magical thing. I didn't roll out of bed. So anyway, just wanted to put that caveat in case you're listening, because it was not on my radar. I grew up singing and dancing, Neil Simon, Barefoot in the Park, Stephen Sondheim. I was like, I can fake tap dance. I did jazz tap ballet. I sang, and I always had a dream to come to New York. And so I finally got my act together and moved in 2000. And I got sober all at the same time, which I would never recommend anybody else do it like that, but that's how I did it. And people kept saying, "You're really funny." And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Right?
It was intense. I had this sweet little life in Austin, and then I moved to New York, and you're like, "How much is rent?" What? The delis just make up, they just make up the numbers. Today the water is $8. Yesterday it was $3. You're like, "What?" So people kept saying, "You're funny." And I was like, I couldn't see it. I wasn't trying to be funny. And so after like a gazillion people told me that, and I had casting directors saying, "You need to lighten up.
Wow.
You're too intense," because I am intense, and I was trying to make up for lost time because I was newly sober. And
Right.
and somebody, I just heard a casting director say, let's say you've got one role to fill, you've got 100 people auditioning for it, 50 of them are talented,
Mm,
really talented and good looking. So then how do you eliminate? Well, you want to be with the people that you can hang out on set for 8, 12, 16 hours. You don't want to be with the people that you're like, ugh. And I wish I'd known that. But
yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of how I fell into it. I took improv, and then I took a stand-up class, and I didn't know how to write, Ricky. I come home from class and cry. And I finally just said, "Just finish the darn class, Elaine." And the night of the show, I thought, just think of it as a monologue, expect nothing, because I was bombing in class. And then when I got to the dysfunctional family stuff, people were bent over howling, and my life made sense for the
Wow.
first time. Like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to help people maybe I picked this crazy family so that I can help other people heal who maybe won't go to therapy or whatever. And so that was really when things, everything, that was a big shift for me.
Sure. Man, so you're in New York, sober, which you said you do not recommend for anybody. And then you're taking these classes but then you got a break, my friend. You were on SNL.
Well,
What?
I do want to say, I recommend sober. When you first become sober, they say don't change anything. And I had to keep temping and moving. And so, just the way that I did it was really challenging. I truly think it was God's plan for me, because I knew everybody in Austin. I knew Willie Nelson's. I just knew all the cool people. And it would have been way harder to say no had I stayed in Austin. So anyway,
sober is good.
Sober is good.
But
sober is a gift from God.
Changes after sobriety, not so great. Okay, got it. Thank you for clarifying.
There are lots of really great comedians who had to get sober, and musicians and all that stuff. So I got to be on Saturday Night Live. So you do these things where you pay to meet the casting director for blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times it's like the casting director's assistant, but you got to start somewhere. And so I studied with this guy, and I'm even forgetting his name at the moment, Josh something. And he did what they call the under fives, which is anytime you have lines under 5. And that's think about it. The cast is the cast. And then sometimes they have extras coming in for the dance numbers or whatever. And so I got to be in this dance number, Seth Meyers MTV dance number. And I got to meet Jack Black and Daryl Hammond, who used to do Bill Clinton impersonations. And, just to be in the NBC studio and just to see what they do every week, putting a whole show together within a week is amazing. And so like they're writing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then they make the call. So Thursday they're, and then this poor guy has to come in and dress everybody. He'd say like, oh, I'm not really enjoying that on you, and so I had to like try to be cooler for my MTV thing. And then we rehearse prep on Friday, and then Saturday you're there all day, and they do 2 shows on Saturday. The first one is like 7:00. They tape it, but they don't broadcast it. And they're usually 14 scenes. And then they cut the 3 weakest scenes.
Wow.
And they depend sometimes on the audience reaction. And so you don't know if your scene is going to make it on the air until Saturday Night Live, when they do the real taping. I mean, the second show that's broadcast with the whole new audience, because if you brought in the same audience, they wouldn't have that energy. So, I would love to go do it again. I'd love to go be an audience member. Just being in that space is so iconic,
I bet that is, you, for as amazing as it sounds, it doesn't sound as super glamorous as I would like to think that it is.
Oh my God.
My feelings, Elaine.
Ricky, I got to tell you, and this is like movie making, so not glamorous. TV, so not. A lot of it, I mean, I'm grateful every time I've gotten to have a gig, but the amount of rehearsal and prep and energy that goes into it, they make it look cool with the montages and the red light, the red carpet, and but so much of it is really a lot of hard work, and people don't realize what goes into it. Like I have one of my best friends, I met him when I very first moved to New York. He's a scene designer. He's worked on Mrs. Maisel, Oprah's Beloved, like Broadway, TV shows, movies. He's like, oh my God, Steve Martin just passed me with this banjo. So he spent a month making a wall for a Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. Wow. A month making this wall with other people. Like that's a lot of labor. And they shot it, and then it's over. And hopefully they got it. And so, it's just, it's an amazing art form. And I'm lucky every time I get to do something with it. and it's
And I
not
bet you're
glamorous
really
anything.
good. I would love to see that. So, Elaine, let's skip ahead a little bit. So now
Okay.
you're a comedian, you're in New York, you're a server, you're on SNL, you've meeting all the coolest people ever. And then now you're teaching people public speaking, but with that comedic twist. Now, when I saw you at your keynote, you talked about a couple of things that I had to write them down because they were so good about how to deliver a talk using some comedy type skills. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. I love talking about this because I think we need to laugh. There's a lot of serious stuff happening. And a lot of times there's a lot of serious stuff happening. And I know for me, I had 3 addictions. I'm an assault survivor, domestic violence survivor. You name it, it happened to me. And so if I know that if I get too upset about something and I'm in this high state, I can't be of service. Right. And so I learned probably about 10 years ago, maybe 12, that like, okay, Elaine, you're in timeout from the news because when you get in a certain heightened state, you're not helping anybody and you're becoming a crazy woman who has to go to yoga 5 times a day. And, so I think sometimes people forget that if they're laughing, it doesn't mean that you don't care. Laughter can be a way to connect with your humanity, your spirituality. It doesn't mean that you don't care about what's going on and that you don't have deepness. And it's just one of the best ways to deal with stress.
It's so funny
So
though,
that being
'cause
right,
oh,
and
go ahead.
that being
The Bible
right,
talks about, that laughter is medicine for the soul. So
yeah,
you literally just said the exact same thing. Why are we not laughing more? Mm.
right. Well, I'm hoping that we will keep teaching it because everyone's so PC, and so I try
Woo.
to talk about like having a comedic mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which just means, okay, I'm going to choose to look for the funny. We all have those days. You spill coffee on your favorite shirt, you hit every damn red light and you're late, and are you kidding? Right. And so instead of adding on to what you're already feeling, to catch yourself and say, okay, this is going to be funny someday, maybe not
Yeah.
tomorrow, next week, but someday this is going to be funny. Like, think about travel, all the craziest travel things. What are the stories that you tell? A lot of times it's like the worst meal, the worst flight, right? Like sometimes you're not like, oh, and it was this beautiful sunset. You're talking about like the crazy waiter who spilled the food or whatever. And so just having that shift can be great. And then as a speaker, we want to be entertaining. We want to be motivating, educational, inspiring, and entertaining. So that's a lot, right? So we want to have vocal variety. We want to be able to really connect with people. And the thought of like actually telling a joke is like, right?
Yeah.
And so I encourage people, like, the more stage time you do, the more comfortable you're going to be in your skin, the more likely you will be able to find your natural funny. And it's an evolution. So that's one concept. But another one is, you don't have to tell the jokes. You can tell somebody else's story. You can show a cartoon. I mean, check the trademarks up, but you can be a messenger. You can share. I mean, who doesn't love a funny dog and cat video, right? I mean, I'm so easily amused. I love to end my day with America's Funniest Home Videos. That show has been on since the dark ages.
Yeah.
It's the same darn thing. It's like kids with a piñata bat and they hit the parent.
Right.
People do stupid things and they fall, but they don't get hurt, because if they
Mhm.
got hurt, we wouldn't laugh. It's the
Sure.
same thing over and over again. So, but just even attempting to bring levity to start a meeting off,
Yeah.
it can just help people remember to breathe, right?
Eve.
And so,
Yeah.
and then the other thing I love to talk about that is what I call savor lines,
That
because the
was my
biggest fear,
favorite.
right?
That was
Like,
my favorite part of your whole talk
yes,
because I'm like, that is literally gold. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm so happy, and I hope that you take them and share them with the world, because a lot of times we want to tell the story, we want to try something, and then we have a fear of, if this doesn't work, it's going to go, And then there's that awkward, and then the audience feels bad for you. You feel embarrassed. It's like so many bad dates I've had. Anybody else? Right. And so what you can do is say, okay, so that went different. That played differently in my mind. Just saying. Or not everything is going to be A material, folks. Or, okay, so that was the comedic part. I'll wait. There's a million things you can, like, oh, my cat thought that was funny. My dog loved that this morning. My husband laughed, but maybe he felt like he had to. Or, okay, I'll wait. Some of you will get that on the way home. Right. Some of them are thinkers. One of my mentors, Jessica Kirsten, she will turn around and put her face to the audience and then talk into the mic and say, why did you tell that joke? They're not going to like that. Like Jim Gaffigan does that. What are you thinking? Now they think you're like dumb. In your head. Right. Like you're sharing that inner critic voice, and we laugh because we all have it, right? We laugh because it's true. We laugh because we can relate. We laugh because we're shocked. We laugh because we're surprised. But a lot of times we laugh because we can relate. Just the whole, like, where are my glasses? Did we see my glasses? I can't find my glasses. I was just goofing around. I made that video and people loved it because we've all done it. Wanda Sykes, the whole thing. I can't find my phone. She's on the phone with her friend and she's like, I can't find my phone. Can you hold on a second? I can't find my phone. I looked over. We've all done it, right? It's so human. And so I love to just encourage people to try it. It can feel scary, but if you can give yourself the grace of a savor line, you're telling the audience, all right, look, you guys didn't like it or whatever. I'm okay. You're okay. Let's move on. Let's keep the party moving. So you don't have that awkward thing. And here's what's cool, Ricky, is many times if you say the savor line with the right kind of delivery, which takes some practice, sometimes that will get a huge laugh.
Yeah. I'm going to stop you here really quick because, Elaine, that was so much information. All of it absolutely freaking amazing. And here's what I took away from it. Relatability, laugh because one day it's going to be funny, and then your savor lines. But then the last thing that I got, that delivery. Delivery. Some people will stand up and like I said, you and I both are coaches for public speaking. We've seen our clients that come in and they're like, oh, I want to start out with a joke. Whenever I hear that, I'm just like, okay, what could go wrong? What you got?
Right.
And they will do this thing. The joke may be funny, but the delivery sucks it. How do you, as a coach and a comedian, teach people about comedic timing when you're talking about public speaking?
Oh, that is a juicy. I'm like, that may be a part 2. I may have to come back to that, Ricky. I'll share this. So, obviously I'm a high energy goofball, and I was working on this joke, and I said, any parents in the house? God bless you. Are you too tired to raise your hand? Clap for the parents. And then I would say, I couldn't have kids. I don't have any kids. And I would look sad. And then the audience is confused. Like, is this a comedy show? What the hell? And then I go, because I have white carpet. And it, it was like a hit or miss. And the way I was delivering it was, I was in on the joke.
Yeah.
So I wasn't letting the audience come to their own conclusion. I was like projecting. And when you're in the joke and it's your joke and your life, sometimes it's very hard to get objective. That's why it's great to hire Ricky or a coach to have somebody else helping you with your story. It's just and luckily Jessica Kirsten, she said, Elaine, say that differently. And it felt very, I said, parents in the house, I can't have kids. And I would pause and look down, and you could really feel the audience like,
oh my God.
And I go, because I have white carpet. And if I said it slow enough, I would get an applause break at the beginning of my set, which is good. Like that's how good a joke that was. And it was all in the delivery.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's the beginning of it's the beginning of the set. I just, but when I can really commit to that slower thing,
Good.
people thought it was brilliant.
Yeah,
And so
that's so good. The slow thing, and I am huge. I am all about a pause. Oh my gosh, a pause can save your life. And I was thinking, and see, you and I kind of are the same people in that. When you were saying that, I can't have children, my mind said, "I'll give you mine." Do you see what I'm saying? That I'm like, I didn't even feel bad for you. I'm like, I have four. I have two of everything they make. Pick
take
something.
some,
I'm
take my
good.
kids, please. Right.
But you do see a lot of folks who believe that, and again, in one of the books I had written, the public speaking tips and myths, one of the myths is you have to start with a joke, and I tell a lot of my clients, no, you don't,
Oh, who
especially
came up with
if
that one?
I don't know, especially if the only one that thinks you're funny is you. Don't just just don't.
Yeah. Well, I love that people want to work on it. And here's a message. If you're one of these people that's like, I'm really funny, everyone tells me I'm really funny, just you might want to reel it back in, because it means you're harder to teach. And
That's
when I've had
good.
clients that go, oh, I'm not funny, those are the people I love working with.
Yes.
And sometimes they're like the dry one-liners or the quiet witty or the slightly sarcastic, but they're more coachable. Because here's the thing is, sometimes laughter can be very situational. I'm in AA 24 years, and yay, and sometimes I'll say something in a meeting and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just like speaking my truth. I'm emotionally like, oh my God, my mother. And it will get a big laugh. And I'll take the same thing in a regular environment and it doesn't play. Right. And so sometimes things are just like the timing of it. And so anyway, I just encourage you, if you think you're really funny, that's awesome. And keep working on it.
Yeah,
Keep
be
working on
coachable
it.
though
And
too.
as a new comedian, you would have a good set and you were like, I'm ready for Letterman.
Right.
And and then the
Are you gonna?
universe would have you bomb,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
you
that's
learn.
so,
You learn.
Elaine. The clients that you work with, what are they learning? What are they getting from you when they come your way? What are they looking for?
Well, I love working with. I work with mostly women, a few smart men, and mostly women who know it's time to grow their business and they just can't. They're like, I can't press go on the video, or I know I want to be speaking more, but, and a lot of times, I know, there's a gazillion ways to get stage time before you get, you want to have your stuff worked out before you get the $5,000 keynote, right? And then there's there's Toastmasters, there's some great things, and then there's a lot of stuff in between. And so I love helping people create a plan for, okay, let's craft your message and let's get you stage time. And that's the best way for you to learn and go, okay, this audience was dead, this audience was unruly, this audience, there was a whole bunch going on. So I love helping people navigate that. And I just got off the phone with one of my VIPs and I said, let's reverse engineer, because this woman is amazing. I'm coaching a woman who used to work for DreamWorks, Steven Spielberg. I'm like, thank you. And I said, and she can talk about green sustainability, like all these things. She was a comedian. And I said, let's reverse engineer for what are people looking for in your sector, right? And so, I mean, some of it, I think maybe you feel this way, Ricky's like, I've been doing it for so long. It's just like this intuitive thing, like, oh, where are you? Where do you want to go? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think part of that too is I help people navigate this.
Yeah, that's a whole
Because
thing.
there's the bullies out there and this and this. Woo!
Woo, that
the
is a
hardest,
whole thing.
most brutal thing. And, I'll share that. I don't know if this has ever happened for you, but, I've spoken about some really intense, vulnerable subjects in front of some thousands, which is, whew. And I've had times where I feel like I gave my all and I sat down and I felt so vulnerable.
So, Elaine, if somebody wanted to work with you or even just continue this conversation, where's the best place for them to find you?
Oh, thanks for the question, Ricky. The best place is captivatethecrowd.com. That is, all C's, captivate the crowd. And I have an awesome video script, and that way we can be connected and you can learn, because I do free master classes once or twice a month. And that is the best way.
All right. Y'all, don't worry. If you didn't get her information, all of her contact stuff will be in the description below. And don't forget, while you're here, like and subscribe and share our content with your network. It means everything to us. Elaine, my friend, before I let you go, we got to play a game real fast, okay?
Okay.
All right. The game is called This or That. I'm going to give you the choice of a couple of things, and you just tell me which one you like the best. Are you ready to play, my friend?
Yes, I'm so glad you're not making me draw, because I'm not good at category.
Yeah, let's do this. Get ready to play.
Okay.
All right. McDonald's or Burger King?
Burger King.
I like it. Snickers or Three Musketeers?
Snickers, baby.
Water park or amusement park?
Amusement.
Okay. House slippers or bare feet?
House slippers.
Don't like the cold floor. Okay. Flowers or plants?
Flowers.
Candlelight or moonlight?
Candlelight.
Go all day or I need a nap?
Oof. I would say go all day for now.
With a nap. I hear you. Red or yellow light? Speed up or slow down?
Slow down.
You're so good. I'm so proud of you.
It depends.
See, I knew it was going to eventually come out. Hold your tongue or clap back?
Ooh, hold your tongue.
You are good. I am impressed. And finally, my friend, what would you tell your 13-year-old self right now?
Oh, honey. Oh, that's a great question. I would hug her and I would tell her that she's going to be okay. And that so much of the chaos and craziness had nothing to do with her.
Wow. That right there, that is huge. Oh my God. Elaine, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, my friend.
Well, thanks, Ricky, for having me. I love your energy, your smile, your light. I can't wait to learn more from you next year. And I'm really honored to be on your show. So thank you.
It's my pleasure. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. But don't worry, we'll be back next week with more Faith on Friday Presents.